Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Baka podcast.
Baka. It's amazing how every time you open your mouth, you prove you're an idiot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Baka, our latest minisode, or oldest, depending on I don't know when you hit play. You know, podcasts are weird like that. Thank you for pressing play, though. We are here for our minisode to talk about evolving movies or TV shows into animes from our point of view. Where do we want to see movies and TV shows? Which ones should be animes? To talk about this, we're going to get a little help from my co-host, like always. You know the drill. I'm going to compliment one and insult the other, and that's the way they like it. So first up, we have the cow to my zone. What's up, Jeremy?
Oh, just enjoying MechWare Online.
Yeah, we all are a little too much. Go House Kurita. Thank you.
Yes.
Down with the clans. Man, we
That's
were
right.
out nerding our nerds. We also have the hot to my pocket, Jason. He's here too. How's it going?
He gets pizza, and you make me into a microwavable snack.
You don't like pizza.
You could be affordable.
I love pizza. My favorite pizza from Papa Murphy's, is the calzone. Chicago-style pizza. So I am, once again, offended.
Okay. That was a callback to earlier pizza problems we've had in mini-sodes past. Guys, like I said poorly, we should clarify, this mini-sode is about TV shows and movies that we want to see as anime. And I'm calling it evolving into an anime because it's like a Pokemon and it's reaching its final form. But Jason, this was your subject and it's a great one. I had a blast thinking this through and maybe even bent the rules a little bit to get my answers in. But you're going to go ahead and start us off, and we're going to do it just like we did in our last mini-sode. We're going to do each do our three, each do our second, each do our first, and then kind of poke holes at each other's answers. So, Jason, what is your number 3 movie or TV show?
My number 3 was Edge of Tomorrow. I thought that movie could have been done phenomenally better, not just because it starred... oh my God, his name was in
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Good Lord.
Whoa. Okay. We're about to have a fight.
Those are fighting words.
You know I like Tom Cruise movies. Why you gotta come in, stepping, kicking dirt around?
Okay. Then in that case, I would like you to defend Mission Impossible 3 and 4.
What? 3's one of the best ones.
How dare you?
What are you talking about?
Number 1 was the best for 1, but number 3 and 4 were just like shells of what they should be.
Why are you skipping the garbage that is 2? Like, if there's one Mission Impossible to dump on, it's when John Woo had him spinning on a motorcycle like he was in an anime.
Fair enough. But anyways, there's been some great Tom Cruise movies, and there's been a lot of horrible ones. So, in my opinion,
Now, wasn't Edge of Tomorrow from a graphic novel or
It's from a light novel, which
a light novel
turned into anime very commonly, but it was never an anime.
I could see how it would definitely work. I mean, they could just switch the path instead of a movie and just go straight to the anime.
Well, what I love about it is it takes this idea of respawning to another level. But I think a couple of things. One, I think the aliens would have been presented better in an anime.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But 2, especially if it had become a series, like ReZero, it could have explored this idea of relearning this terrible, tragic event over and over again. I think the story could have been told better from an anime point of view, in my opinion.
What do you think? And I think this will actually be something that comes up quite a bit, but what would you be willing to lose the acting in this movie, because I actually really enjoyed the acting that the characters did. I really
by
liked
Tom Cruise,
including Tom Cruise's acting. It was very good in this. I really enjoyed it.
To be fair, I did enjoy the movie. I did like the acting. I just think a lot of aspects, especially the world building itself, could have been done better in an anime, I feel. So yes, I'd be willing to lose that caliber of acting for better storytelling and better world building.
I'd like to see like the suits get even crazier, right?
Oh
with the swords and the guns, like really take it up a notch.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be very cool.
But okay, can Tom Cruise voice the main character?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, sweet.
We're good. Jeremy, what's your world number 3?
So I have a ton of honorable mentions. I'm not going to mention them right now, but it was kind of something where I wasn't sure if you guys were going to wind up picking the same ones I have. So I have like this mass of movies. Yeah, I could just shove them into the third slot and move things up if I need to. But kind of at the top of this list of backlogged ones would be Jumanji. Think about Jumanji as a Miyazaki movie.
Oh.
Holy crap.
You even put in the director, and
you just sold me.
How cool would that be? I mean, think about the tension every time you have to roll dice and take a turn. Your life is on the line.
Hosoda,
in this world.
If Hosoda directed it and had it very similar to his storytelling with Princess Mononoke, that would be just amazing.
Phenomenal, huh? Yeah. Tanya actually came up with that one, and as soon as she said it, I was like, wait a minute, that's gold. Yeah. Oh, that's gold. As far as actors too, because Robin Williams, he's well known for that. I wouldn't necessarily mind if losing him as the actor for that character, because he's a great actor, but the movies that always stand out in my mind are comedy with him, and with this, it just didn't resonate that well to me. I would be more than happy to let that go, the human aspect, in exchange for what would come out of this if it was done by the right studio.
Would you even want any adult characters in it? If you're doing a Miyazaki, do you want to just stick to children characters? It tends to work better with them, I think, usually.
I would want one that dips in and out. So like maybe is caught in on their own turn and then pulled out for some reason, and the other two have to keep moving, and then they might find them later and have to. I think there would be subtle changes to the story.
And Patrick Stewart can voice the hunter.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah.
Good answer. Cool. My number 3 is a movie that hasn't come out yet. So honestly, I'm doing the book series, but it is going to become a movie, so it does technically count. The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
From Stephen King's universe. And actually, I would love if the animes got into his whole universe, because all his books connect, or at least most of them do. And the linchpin of all of them is the Dark Tower series. They are making a movie about that. It's set in a fantastical world, so you can have some really crazy monsters. It can be dark, it can be violent, and I think that the Dark Tower as an anime series would be really, really good.
Langoliers. Holy crap.
There's a ton of Stephen King that would be great.
Yeah. Except Misery. I think Misery needs to be left alone.
I'm thinking of more fantastical ones like Insomnia. It could be a good one.
Is it being remade too?
Ooh. It is actually being remade.
That movie still creeps me out
as a horror anime, and not. So the big drawback of it is the final reveal of the monster, and the budget didn't hold up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about that in an anime. You can make it as freakishly mind warping as you want, as it should be.
Yep.
So that's what is for me. Let's go to our number 2s.
Snowpiercer.
I haven't seen that yet. Someone's gonna be mad at me.
Don't beat yourself up for not seeing that. It's a terrible movie, and I think retelling and showing it as an anime, like literally dropping all the characters, dropping all the actors and recasting all of them as the voices you normally hear for dubs. I'd be happy with that too, because I think it's a fantastic story idea. It was just executed horrendously, in my opinion. I'd give the movie like a 3. Like it's a sci-fi movie that you watch to laugh at. Like it's that kind of caliber for me.
I had heard good things. Now I want to watch it more so I can make my own opinion.
So I do have a couple guys at work that love the movie. Like they rave about it. But like there's other guys at work that are, in my opinion, I don't run into too many people that have a mediocre opinion about the movie. So it'd definitely be worth a watch. But I think it would be fantastic as an anime. And I think it would be better than Cabaneri.
Yeah, my mind immediately went to Cabaneri.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about it. I remember a couple of the previews. There's no zombies in it, right? No zombies.
Correct.
Outside the train?
It's literally just snowpocalypse.
Trapped. Okay.
Snowpocalypse trapped on a train that cannot stop. It's Speed on rails. Like the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves.
Uh-huh. So it's people trapped in an environment of very limited space and having to survive.
In dystopian society too, right?
Well, they're not just trapped. They're on there for survival. Like they can't leave because they'll die outside from the cold.
Right.
But there's like this like hierarchy, and like there's the first class trains, and they treat the old class train, the lower class people in the back of the train with all the cargo and coal. Or not coal, but I forget what it runs on. But yeah, it's
bodies.
I think if you went with like the violence of Kill La Kill, not Kill La Kill, no, Agame ga Kill.
Oh, okay.
With like arms being chopped off, and because that had a bit of a hierarchy thing going on too. That I think that would work really well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What are you, Jeremy?
Waterworld. Okay, this movie gets a lot of hate. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Max on jet skis. I get it.
Yeah, okay. Right. I saw this movie when I was a little kid, okay? And it made a huge impression on me because I had never seen the idea of the world covered with water and how they would survive. And I thought Kevin Costner did a good job. And I really enjoyed the plot and the premise because I was a little kid. Looking back, I can see a lot of the flaws that everybody points out now. But imagine that in an anime where they're dealing with all of the same problems and situations, and you have just this globe covered in water, and they've got to, the person has to survive. They've got to, hunt down that promised land where there's actually Earth to live on. I could see this being... It kind of reminds me of the one that came out not that long ago with the kid travels to a different location. Travels to Earth with his robot. There have been animes in the past, recently, where the world is covered in water. And so if you look at one where there's a young man and a robot on a world covered in water, that I could kind of get the same vibe with Waterworld. And I think it could be really interesting because I always remembered the scene where he dives down and he's exploring the ruins and,
To be completely honest, 100% honesty, I think Mad Max would be better.
I have it on my list, but yeah.
But Waterworld would be fine. My problem with Waterworld was not the setting or the lore of that world. I think that actually would make a great anime. I want Kevin Costner's character gone. For a hero, I didn't attach to him at all. Give me a cliche anime, cocky young guy who just also happens to be a mutant and he's a little bit better at fighting than everyone. And that's why he becomes the main hero. It's anime cliche, but I think I would love that in Waterworld. I think I would love that movie if that had been the hero. Instead of mopey Kevin Costner.
And maybe that's what they would have to do, too. Yeah.
I cheated again. My world number 2 is any movie that was based off a Philip K. Dick story. You guys know who Philip K. Dick is?
I know that name.
He writes high concept sci-fi So
God, I know that name.
So his movies include Blade Runner, Total Recall, and Minority Report.
Oh God.
Okay. Yeah,
so
fair enough.
He goes for that high concept sci-fi that I think would fit really well in anime. Any one of those I would be happy to see in anime form.
Those are on my list too.
Especially if you take off, like, don't put Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. Don't put Nicolas Cage in it. Let's let these
That's
anime
what makes
characters breathe.
Come on, Ghost Rider. I mean, that's what makes Nick Cage movies Nick Cage movies.
The Nick Cage movie I'm referring to is Next. I have not seen it, and I will not see it.
What about Face Off?
That was a crazy Nick Cage movie. I mean, for Nick Cage standards, that was a crazy Nick Cage movie. I actually really enjoyed it. It was great.
You've been caged.
To clarify, I don't want all Nick Cage movies to turn into animes. And Snake Eyes is the best Nick Cage movie.
Oh,
is it?
What about Alcatraz? Come on.
You mean The Rock? And yes, I love The Rock.
Yes,
that was a great
movie.
movie.
Yeah, that was good.
I like Nicolas. I like Nicolas.
Con Air, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Con Air is a movie? Oh my god.
So Troy wants Nick Cage movies.
I love Nick. Yes, my number 2 is all Nick Cage movies in anime, except for Nick Cage is still live action in them.
Eating pizza because that's your favorite movie.
That would be awesome.
All eating pizza because that's his favorite food.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
Jason, what's your number 1? And by the way, thank you for destroying my number 2.
Your rule-breaking number 2.
All right, so I'm breaking the rules a little bit because it was what is better. Well, what do I think it's better as an anime? But I would, for my number 1, I would not want to replace it with the anime. I would just like to see a version of it as an anime, and I think
the same one.
Ender's Game.
Oh, thank goodness. Wrong.
Right. I think Ender's Game might be pretty good as an anime, especially if they were to extend it as like a longer series to give the book a bit more justice than the movie did. Because I enjoyed the movie. I know a lot of the book fans hated it. But I think some of the storytelling arcs could have been done better, and also like especially the aliens and the space battles could have been fantastic.
Well, I love a main character that's built around strategy is his power. So
yes,
I'd probably be into it. Is this anime going all the way into the further book series, or just like as far as the movie went?
I would love it to just do the entire book series, like a 10 season anime.
Because you could do that with an anime, because you don't have to worry about actors aging or recasting or anything. You could literally draw them older.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I loved the book series, and I think that they could portray it really, really well. I mean, the way that he interacted with the aliens, the buggers, oh, that would be so cool to see the way that they, psychically communicated with them and everything. It was described in so much more detail in the book. It'd be so cool.
Yeah.
So my first is Underworld.
I could see that.
Yep.
I remember I saw the first one, and I thought, this is great. This is really, really cool. Great premise. Even then, I thought this would be a great premise for an anime. The next ones seem to get progressively worse. But they travel back in time. So, well, I've got Jumanji as like your interesting, fun, sort of mind-bending trip. Waterworld's your post-apocalyptic, and then Underworld is your horror action. That would be so much fun.
I'm gonna miss Kate Beckinsale scenes.
Yeah.
Certain scenes a lot. But I do think actually it would work really well as an anime.
Yeah.
You could have flashbacks to set up the story instead of making a weird spin-off movie. And the transformations you could make really grotesque and cool. It definitely would work.
Now, I don't know if there have been already. Like, whenever I was trying to think of movies to convert, I always tried to think, would they stand out among anime, or would they just fade into obscurity in the ranks? And do you guys know of any anime where it's, you have distinct factions of werewolves and vampires fighting over turf?
Well, vampires, I think, is a common thing.
Yeah.
I can't think of any with where werewolves are big.
Because that's the big thing about Underworld is the opposition between the two groups.
Right, the war.
And that's what I didn't think that was something I've seen in anime. If any of the listeners or viewers out there have seen it, I'd love to hear of an anime that has that. Maybe I'll do some searches of my own too to find them if they do. But that's the part that really appealed to me, is that you could take that at any point in time. You could go into the medieval time period and do movies then. You could come into the present day and have a gritty version. It'd be fun to watch.
I think I'd like a present day one with flashbacks but not during battles.
Nicely done.
So my number one needs to be made into an anime. Someone. I'm reaching out. I'm begging for help. Let's bring back Firefly.
Oh, God.
This is the way to do it. All those actors will provide their voices. I know they will. Sure, they're not the right ages anymore to play these characters, but they can voice them. I know they can. Yeah. I know they would. They're passionate about it. It would work as an anime. You draw the characters all cool looking, flesh out that universe, get into the Reavers, just embrace that Wild West tone of it with a little bit of Trigun style. That's what I want.
I disagree a little bit. For one big point, it cannot be a reboot. It would have to be a similar story or a retelling, a complete wipe of old canon. Serenity nailed that world with a coffin, or like nailed it in a coffin and buried it.
I think there's plenty of room for prequel.
I think it would ruin it, honestly. You have a world and a society built very similar to how the people of Coruscant must see the Empire. Like, the people of that world that are on the side of that, the totalitarian government, they don't see the government as bad guys. They see them as their saviors. They're fighting the good fight out there on the, rim worlds. And then once they broadcast at the end of Serenity, and they lose, what is it? Two main characters? Yeah. I think it's kind of like that storytelling's done, in my opinion.
That's where I was going to go is, how would you handle that? I mean, is there still story to tell once Tudyk's dead? Or do you want to reverse that particular thing and,
that's what I'm saying. You'd have to
a couple things and keep going.
Serenity, the movie, would need to be wiped out of the canon in order to continue that story.
I strongly disagree, because they are continuing those stories in comic book form, and they've been doing just fine in that. And actually, they're really good stories.
But I love the movie, and I haven't read them.
That's fine. And some take place after, some take place before. There's story to tell, and Joss Whedon can have a creative hand, and like I said, you get the voice actors back. There's no way that universe is tapped out because of the Serenity movie, which I love. Number one, I love that movie more than I love Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, guys. There's no way you're tapped out on that.
Okay, so the universe, no. Any universe is never tapped out of its storytelling. I'm talking about the
characters. There's a ton of room on those characters. There was 6 seasons worth of room on those characters, and they just...
Absolutely, but what I'm saying is Serenity put a nice bow on that story arc, and I don't know.
Take it off.
I think there's desperation looking for... Anyways, that's my opinion.
Look, Brown coats unite.
I loved the series, loved the show. I would love to see it as an anime. But I don't know about keeping it going, at least not with those characters. I think spin-offs would be fantastic because, in my opinion, even though we look back and we say Firefly, it was a beautiful thing and it should have been continued. I wonder if it would have gone the way of Buffy or if it would have failed because of too much. Just continuing on and slowly going down a path. Because I remember that Buffy actually was terminated because they were at a high point. And they wanted to end it before they went downhill.
I see your point. If it had stayed alive on network television, I think with an anime, you're building it 13 episodes at a time. I don't think they have the same overlords that network television have that are, hey, swap the episode order. And, that's not going to happen with an anime. You can tell a more linear story across multiple episodes instead of having to have a new adventure every episode.
Or interrupt an important fight and tell a different storyline.
You gotta know the backstory of the villain.
I think anime would bring a different medium to it that would work. I think the comics are what I hold on to as proof that it would work, because I think anime and comics share a lot of similarities, and if it can work in one, it could probably work in the other. And I think it's worth attempting because, like I said, there's a lot of passion there to create it, and there's a lot of fans that would be receptive.
I'd watch it.
I totally would too.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But I do understand your point. Serenity is a nice bow. So no matter what you do with the story, you can never hit that crescendo because you always have to keep the movie Serenity out there. And it's always got to be the peak of everything that comes before or after it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we would love to hear your thoughts on why I'm right.
Do you want to do any honorable mentions before we sign out?
We can do some honorable mentions.
Okay.
I don't have any, but obviously you do.
I have a handful. I was thinking about Resident Evil. That was one that kept popping into my head, but I know that they already have some Resident Evil anime, and so I was like, I can't really include that one.
It's CG and doesn't look anime, but it is, and I like them. I like those movies.
And I think Resident Evil could be done really well as an anime. I mean, it was done pretty well.
High School of the Dead is better, so just make more High School of the Dead, please.
That one is good. I had Total Recall on my list as well, but Tanya, I was trying to think. Most of the movies are not fantasy, and I love fantasy anime. So we were talking about it, and Tanya said, "What about Legend? Have you guys even heard of that? It has Tom Cruise in it.
Tom Cruise and Tim Curry as the devil."
1985.
Of course I've heard it.
Okay, now picture that as an anime. Drop all the cheesiness.
I feel like we're just making a generic fantasy story, though.
Yeah.
It could be, but I think it could be fun. I think it could be really cool.
It's funny you say Legend. What about I Am Legend? An anime?
That would be good. Yeah, that would be good.
You wouldn't have the weird CG zombies at the end? So good.
That's true.
Can anime work based on only with one character, though?
Absolutely.
If it's psychological.
Yeah.
If you have psychological problems with the character.
Do you have any examples? I mean, is there anything you can think of where there's just like a character?
Well, I think he made the zombies into other characters, like supporting cast, by the way he treated them and the dog. There wouldn't be a lot of talking. It would be kind of silent, but it'd probably be a movie, not a series.
Oh, yeah, totally. I wouldn't see it as a series.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. And then there was also, in the veins of like Total Recall and stuff, there's Demolition Man. You know, that was Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
Every restaurant in the future is Taco Bell, and I'm
yeah. And then Pacific Rim.
That was going to be one of mine.
Yep. Yeah. And The Sixth Day, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Think about the cloning things there. That would be so cool. Imagine if they didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they just had an everyday guy who was acting as an agent, and he starts, he runs into himself at his house and realizes, oh my God, I'm a clone, or you're a clone. Who's the baby?
I thought you said get rid of Arnold.
I can't help it.
My only issue with 6 days, I feel like it's diet Total Recall. I feel like let's just go ahead and do Total Recall then.
Wait, was that movie with Danny DeVito?
No, that's a different one.
I think it's twins.
Is that the one where Arnold fights the devil and it's Danny DeVito and they're twins?
No, that's where Arnold gets pregnant.
Oh my God, yes, there's that one too. Pretty much any Arnold movie.
Jason, do you have any?
That's good for me.
You have any honorable mentions you can think of?
I only have one, and I would have loved to see the show Fringe as an anime. Because I think
that would have been good.
I think the visuals would have been just phenomenal.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can see that.
Yeah.
You know, honorable mentions, Snake Eyes, Face Off.
Ghost
the
Rider.
rest of the Nicolas Cage movies.
Everything he's been in the past 5 years that didn't make it to theaters. Okay, that's it for us, guys. We do actually want to hear your thoughts and opinions on what we've said and which ones you would like to see turn into animes as well. So hit us up at our Twitter at Baka Podcast or email theanimebakaclub at gmail.com, or you can leave a comment on wherever you found this episode. We thank you for listening to us, and we hope to see you soon. We are watching Mushi-Shi, the first 13 episodes, and we will talk about that next week. Thank you guys very much. Everyone, say goodbye.
See you next time.
Have a good day.
Sayonara.